In 2022, the financial world witnessed the impossible. I'm your host from The Finance Detective, and in this explainer, we're diving into how one single man, standing at the very center of the crypto universe, orchestrated a financial disaster so massive, it literally shook the foundations of modern finance. This is the story of the Crypto King.
$32 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. We aren't talking millions here. That is $32 billion. That's monumental wealth. We're talking massive corporate investments and everyday people's life savings.
And it was gone. Just gone in a matter of days. But you know, the absolute craziest part of this whole story isn't actually how fast it collapsed. It's the blind trust that made it possible in the first place. Millions of everyday people trusted him. Massive celebrities trusted him, politicians, even Wall Street, arguably one of the most cynical places on earth, trusted him. His name was Sam Bankman-Fried, and he built an empire so seemingly bulletproof that nobody noticed the devastating reality hiding right beneath the surface. Well, until it was far too late.
Section 1. The Harmless Crypto King, Building the Perfect Illusion.
See, if you looked at Sam Bankman-Fried, he definitely didn't look like a billionaire mastermind. And honestly, that was exactly the point. His public image was perfectly, meticulously crafted. He wore messy, oversized t-shirts, he drove simple cars, he famously played video games right in the middle of high-stakes investor pitches. He played the part of a harmless nerd perfectly, a genius who didn't care about the money. But the private reality? We're talking private jets, multi-million-dollar luxury penthouses, and missing billions. His whole good guy persona became his ultimate superpower. It completely disarmed everyone. They actually believed he was the savior of finance, the exact opposite of those greedy Wall Street bankers.
Because of this carefully built illusion, investors absolutely loved him. By 2021, his crypto exchange, called FTX, had just completely exploded. It became one of the biggest platforms on the planet. And the money just poured in. Major celebrities were promoting it, famous athletes jumped on board, huge traditional investment firms were handing Sam billions of dollars, literally without blinking an eye. At its absolute peak, FTX reached a staggering valuation of $32 billion. He was the golden boy of the crypto world.
But behind the closed doors of his luxury Bahamian penthouse, something was very, very wrong. Most people fully believed FTX was completely safe, but very few actually understood the dark mechanics of how the company operated. So when his empire started quietly bleeding money behind the scenes, it leads us to the ultimate multi-billion-dollar question. Where exactly did the cash come from to cover it up?
Section 2. The Secret Alameda Connection, the backdoor to billions.
To truly understand the scale of this fraud, you have to understand the two sides of Sam's operation. On one side, you have FTX. Think of it as the bank. Customers deposited their hard-earned money here, fully believing their funds were locked away, totally safe and protected. On the other side, you have Alameda Research. That was the casino. Alameda was a trading firm, also controlled by Sam, and they were making huge, incredibly dangerous bets with borrowed money. Now, when those risky bets failed, Alameda desperately needed cash to stay afloat. And according to prosecutors, that cash came straight out of FTX, without permission, without the public knowing a thing. Imagine putting your life savings into a secure bank vault, and then the bank manager secretly sneaks it across the street to gamble at a casino. That is exactly what was happening in the shadows.
Section 3. Built on an illusion, the token that held it all together.
For a while, nobody noticed the missing money. I mean, crypto prices were flying sky high. Everyone was getting rich. And, when everyone's making money, people stop asking the hard questions. But every empire has a weak point. And Sam's empire was built on a massive, glaring illusion. You see, a huge chunk of his supposed wealth wasn't real cash at all. It was tied to something called the FTT token. Now, FTT was a cryptocurrency created entirely out of thin air by FTX itself. Its entire value depended on one single, very fragile thing: people actually believing that FTX was a strong company. It was essentially fake money holding up real money. And the second that blind confidence vanished, the entire house of cards was destined to come crashing down.
Section 4. The Ultimate Financial Collapse. The dominoes fall in November 2022.
That inevitable moment of collapse, it came brutally fast. Let's walk through this timeline of absolute destruction. Day 1. A leaked financial document exposes the shocking truth about Alameda Research. The public suddenly realizes,
Wait, this firm might not have real money backing it? Day 2. Fear instantly spreads among crypto investors. The rumors ignite like wildfire. Day 3. A total, chaotic financial stampede begins. People rush the platform to withdraw their funds. We're talking billions of dollars, all at once. Day 4. The final fatal blow. A rival crypto exchange announces they are dumping all of their FTT tokens. The price plummets. And Day 5. Total collapse. A $32 billion empire breaks, literally almost overnight.
And then, the terrifying reality finally set in for millions of users around the globe. FTX didn't actually have enough money to give back. The vault was simply empty, because so much of it had already been secretly gambled away and lost. People woke up to realize their life savings were just gone. Retirement funds, college funds for their kids, evaporated into thin air. The calm, seemingly untouchable billionaire genius was suddenly terrified.
When investigators finally started digging through the rubble, what they found absolutely shocked the world. Massive luxury real estate purchases, secret backdoor money transfers, billions of dollars simply missing without a single trace. Private company messages were leaked, revealing absolute internal chaos. It turns out even a lot of the employees had no idea how deep this deception actually went. Sam Bankman-Fried transformed overnight from this quirky crypto hero into the absolute face of global financial fraud. He was tracked down and arrested in the Bahamas, extradited back to the United States, and forced to stand in court to face massive criminal charges.
Section 5. The true cost of blind trust. How financial disasters grow.
There is a seriously chilling lesson hidden in the wreckage of FTX. And honestly, this quote perfectly captures it. FTX didn't collapse because of one bad day. It collapsed because people stopped thinking critically. Investors were completely blinded by the hype. Celebrities were promoting highly complex financial platforms that they barely even understood themselves. And millions of everyday people trusted a company simply because, well, everyone else seemed to trust it too. This is exactly how massive financial disasters grow, not by force, but by belief. If the crypto market had just kept rising, this fraud could have easily continued for years. More money, more victims, more destruction. Because the truth is, the most dangerous scams, they always look incredibly successful, right up until the exact second they implode.
Today, Sam Bankman-Fried's reality looks very, very different. There are no more private jets, no more magazine covers, just a courtroom and endless, relentless questions. His story really forces us to take a hard look in the mirror. It asks some pretty deep questions about greed, power, and just how easily the world can be manipulated by someone who simply plays the part of a genius. Because when you look at all those missing billions, the biggest scam wasn't actually the cryptocurrency itself. It was the illusion. That carefully crafted illusion that nobody would ever bother to look behind the curtain. The FTX empire has fallen, but in a world completely driven by blind hype and digital promises, you have to wonder, who is building the next illusion?